Welcome to our daily Bible devotions. Last week, we ended with talking about testing our worldview. And that's important. We have established that, but we need to do a recap, because you might be wondering, we keep on talking about worldview and worldview. What is it again? And we have to clarify that worldview is not the things that we see. Worldview is not what we see, but what we see with. That means it is the lens, it is the perspective that we use to view reality. It is not reality per se. Worldview is not the truth around us. Worldview is the lens, the perspective that we use to analyze, understand, and interpret the reality around us. And if we're not using a clear binoculars, for example, then we will not be able to see reality clearly. If we're not using a powerful telescope or microscope, we will not be able to understand clearly what we're looking at. So that is the value of worldview. So we need to understand that. We need to make that very, very clear. Okay, as we proceed, some of you might think, is worldview the same as religion? Then if that's the case, then I don't have a religion. But what we need to understand is that worldview is not just a religion or a philosophy. In fact, worldview is just the way you view reality, it's just the way you view things. So, because of that, everyone has a worldview. If you have eyes, then you can see things. It's like asking a person who is not blind, can you see me? Can you see? Because everyone who has eyes can definitely see. So it's futile to ask whether they can see or not. Of course, they can see. In the same way, all of us has a worldview. As long as someone has a mind, then we have a way of viewing things. Yes, even blind people, they have a way of viewing things. Then, of course, it's a dark way of viewing things, but they still have a worldview. And speaking of worldview, you know, previously, like in the past years, when you search for the top five religions in the world, the result will be Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Judaism. That will be the top five religions or top five uh, religious beliefs in the world. Now, when you search Google, this will be the result. Top five major religions would be Christianity, Islam, no religion or the non-affiliated or the nuns, and then Hinduism, Buddhism. So these people who claim to have no religion or who are not affiliated with any religious institutions, they might claim, I don't have a worldview because I don't have a religion. Now, because we said that everyone has a worldview, even if you don't have a religion, you have a worldview. In fact, you choosing to have no religion, that means that's the way you approach reality. That's the way you want to view things. You have no religion. If you adhere to science, that is your worldview. If you adhere to political ideology, that is your worldview. If you choose to embrace a particular philosophy, that is your worldview. So that's clear. Everyone has a worldview. Now, the better question is not whether you have a worldview or not, because everyone has. The question is your worldview a good one? Why does it matter? Well, it matters because, as we mentioned earlier, if you're not using a powerful microscope or telescope, then that means you're not able to see what you're supposed to see. You want a worldview that is properly functioning, that actually gives you an accurate reflection, an accurate understanding of the world around you. You don't want a worldview that distorts reality. And that can happen. Now, from a Christian perspective, look at this. This is from Romans chapter 1, verse 19. It says there, for although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking. Okay, if you don't believe in God, if you don't want to believe in God, then you can ignore the first part, but focus on the latter part. But they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Look at that. That's bad. Who wants that? Who wants to be futile in their thinking. Who wants their hearts to be darkened? No one wants that. No one wants that. And yet, that can be uh, our situation if our worldview is not correct, if our worldview is not a good one, which is why for the next few days and for the rest of the year, actually, we will keep on examining worldviews so that we will know whether they're good worldviews or not. And what are we supposed to use to examine worldviews? We're going to use logic, we're going to use reasoning, and we will continue tomorrow.